Hello，嘿，大家好，欢迎大家看今天的考官约翰的雅思直播口语课。今天在爱尔兰，所以那就是我为什么穿这么多衣服的原因。然后今天开始练习英语之前，我要首先回答一个我几乎每个礼拜都被学生问的问题，那就是关于在雅思口语考试的时候，如果考官打断学生，考官打断考生，那是否意味着学生发挥的不好？考官打断学生的原因是因为学生犯了什么错误，或者学生说的不好，还是有其他原因？嗯，答案就是取决于情况。答案就是 it depends，我最讨厌的那两个词 it depends。所以有很多考官打断学生的原因，有一些就是跟学生的发挥没有关系的，就是基本上就是跟学生没有关系的。比如说很多时候考官是呃因为时间限制的原因打断学生。所以口语考试一共持续11到14分钟，不能超出14分钟的时间。然后考试 Part One 就是5分钟，不能超出5分钟，至少4分钟，最多5分钟。Part Two 3分钟到4分钟，不能超出4分钟。然后 Part Three 就是跟 Part One 一样，不能超出5分钟。必须持续至少4分钟。所以，如果考官发现考试的那个部分就时间快到了，他因为那个原因会打断学生。另外一个原因就是在 Part One 和 Part Three，考官要他必须问一定数量的问题，比如说在 Part One，他应该问至少8个问题，一般来说，他应该问8个到11个问题，但是应该尽量在那5分钟的时间内问8个问题。所以，如果他发现，比如说在 Part One，他发现，他们做了3分钟的考试，然后他在那3分钟的时间只问了3个问题，他会觉得OK，我应该在接下来的2分钟提出更多的问题，所以他因为那个原因也许会打断在说话的那个考生。所以很多时候他打断你的问题不是跟你的英语有关系。但是有时候也是跟你的英语有关系，有时候也是因为你说错了，或者你没有理解问题的意思，那个也很常见。考官问那个问题，考生以为他问那个问题，他以为他理解那个问题的意思，但是实际上没有理解，所以他提出的答案就是跟被问的问题没有关系。所以在那个情况中，考官发现你没有理解问题的意思的时候，他也会打断你，然后再问他刚刚问的问题。然后如果除此之外，就是如果你说话，然后有很多发音错误，有很多用词的错误，然后你的考官就基本上不理解你说什么话，他就不明白你的意思，他也许也会打断你，然后问另外一个问题，或者再问同样的那个问题。所以，我们说不定你在口语考试被打断的原因是什么？也许就是跟时间有关系，也许就是考官必须遵循呃考试的哪些规定，所以因为那个原因他就打断你。也许就是因为你英语有什么，你犯了什么跟英语有关的错误，比如说没有清楚的理解那个问题，或者 提出一个就是跑题，就是提出一个跟被问的问题没有关系的回答，或者如果你说的特别差，如果有很多发音错误，有很多用词错误，然后考官基本上就不理解你的意思，那他也许也会打断你，所以有很多潜在的原因。OK，所以我们可以开始练习英语，然后开始回答 Part 1之前，我们首先要做一个挑战。OK，所以我要给大家发一些英语单词，然后因为今天我们要练习的 Part 1话题就是 sports 体育，所以我们今天的第一个挑战就是 Which of these are sports? Which of these are sports? 所以我们有1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9个英语单词，其中有一些是 sports，有一些不是 sports，所以你们要决定。Wendy 已经开始回答，但是 Wendy，不要一个一个回答，应该先看那9个词，然后决定其中哪几个算是英语的 sports，然后一起发。Violet Ruby 已经回答，所以 Ruby 说要4个 ，Violet 说要3个，Mia 提出3个。还有吗？只有3个学生回答，所以我们9个单词就是 boxing、exercising、yoga、soccer、table tennis、tai chi、dancing、working out、volleyball。Wendy 有4个 ，Dan 有很多，Dan 觉得几乎所有都是 sports。OK，还有5秒钟。3、2、1，OK，有几个问题都回答，有几个学生都回答对，但是第一个提出正确的回答的学生就是 Ruby，Well done Ruby，所以Ruby 说boxing、soccer、table tennis、volleyball，boxing、soccer、table tennis、volleyball，yes，exactly，boxing、soccer、table tennis、volleyball。So boxing is a sport, exercising is not a sport, yoga is not a sport, soccer is a sport, table tennis is a sport, Tai Chi is not a sport, dancing is not a sport, working out, that's the same as exercising, it's not a sport, volleyball is a sport. 所以英语的 sports 跟中文的运动不太一样，因为经常 sport 会被翻译成运动，然后运动也会被翻译成 sport， 但是有区别，因为不是所有运动都是 sports， 所以a sport 就是一般来说有两个对手或者2个对手队，或者不一定有2个，比如说在跑步赛有很多人，但是他们都是他们都是他们可以其中的哪几个人会有一个人会赢，所以如果你参加那个活动，然后一个人会赢，然后另外一个人会输，或者一个队会赢，然后另外一个队会输，那应该就是 a sport。然后如果有裁判，如果有很多规定，那是 a sport。所以比如说yoga 没有裁判，没有规定，你不可以赢你的瑜伽课，你不可以赢。tai chi 英语的 tai chi 也一样，你不可以赢，你不可以赢，不可以输，没有裁判，没有很特别的规定，所以不是 sport。然后 dancing 也差不多，working out 就是 exercising 和 working out 就是锻炼身体，不是 sport。All right, so our 4 sports are boxing, soccer, table tennis, volleyball. So well done, Ruby. Good job. And now we're going to practice our part 1 topic. which is sport. So Ruby, if you want to answer these, you can put up your hand, and I see she's already done that. So I'm going to turn on Ruby's microphone.
Hi, John.
Hey, Ruby, some questions for you about sports.
Okay.
So question number 1, what sports did you play when you were a child?
Well, when I was a child, I lived in a big apartment complex, and every day I would go cycling with my friends. And sometimes we will play volleyball in the playground in our apartment complex.
Okay. And what's your favorite sport?
That must be cycling. I learned it when I was 4 years old, and although I just got ache for sometimes, but I really enjoy the process. And every time I go cycling in nowadays, I could always remind. I just memorize my friends at that time when I was a child.
Okay. Do you like to watch sports?
Actually not. My father is a big fan of NBA, so he always watch NBA on the TV show. But when I watch it, I always feel very boring, and I'm not gonna watch some TV plays like cycling or volleyball in the TV, because I know no one of those players.
Okay. And are you a fan of any sports teams?
Unluckily not. I'm not always, just when I surfing the internet, I'm not a big fan to watch some sports news, and because of this, I have no idea of the sports player of the sports team. So by this way, I just know nothing about this.
Okay. Okay, thanks, Ruby. All right, let's see. Okay, so Ruby, a lot of vocabulary mistakes there. So that what I've listened to Ruby speak English a lot, so I know her level, and that wasn't at your level, Ruby. That was kind of below your level, your normal level. So there were a lot of vocabulary mistakes. So let's talk about how you began your answers to a couple of those questions. So question number 3 was, do you like to watch sports? You said actually not.
Yeah. Oh, watch sports.
No.
Oh, I talk about TV.
Doesn't matter. That's not my point. And my point is we can't say actually not. So if the question is, do you like, we cannot say actually not. There is no such expression as actually not. Does anybody know what she should say? Mia knows. Well done, Mia. Good job. Yeah, so it's actually no. Actually no. Do you like something? Actually no. So no.
Okay.
Or actually no. Okay. And then this 4th question, are you a fan of any sports teams? Are you a fan of any sports teams?
Yeah.
You said unluckily not. Unluckily not. So it's both of those words are wrong. Both of those words are not correct. So it's not, it's no. And also it's definitely not unluckily. We can't say unluckily not. This has nothing to do with luck. It's nothing to do with luck. Like luck is like 运气好，运气不好. So this is nothing to do with luck. It's
okay. So I just say no, and it's enough.
Yeah. Say no. I guess maybe you were trying to say unfortunately no. Unfortunately no.
Oh,
but
yeah.
But even then, don't say that. Don't say unfortunately no, because I don't think who cares if you're a fan of sports teams or not. If you don't want to be a fan of sports teams, then don't be a fan of a sports team. It's not fortunate or unfortunate or lucky or unlucky. It's just no. No, I'm not. Okay, a couple of other things. Let's see. So the second question was, what's your favorite sport? You said cycling, and you said even though I got ache sometimes. Even though I got ache sometimes. Is that what you said, or did I mishear that?
I want to say like 跌倒, or just sometimes maybe have just have some accidents in the road because I'm
Okay.
not very good at
Okay.
it when I was young.
Okay. Yeah. So it's not got ache, but I think Mia has a good idea again. Well done, Mia. So got hurt. So got hurt is
Okay.
like 受伤. And then if you want to say like you went from your bike to the road, then that is you fell. So I fell off my bike. Even though I fell off my bike a couple of times, or even though I often fell off my bike, that would be that. Okay. Let's see. Then the third question again was, do you like to watch sports? You said, if I watch those sports, I feel very boring.
I feel bored.
Feel bored, exactly, feel bored. And then you said something about TV plays like cycling. TV plays like cycling.
TV sports.
This is a bit complicated. So, right, first of all, there's no such thing as TV plays, right? There's no such expression as TV plays. No, here what you're talking about is like, it's like 自行车赛出现在你的电视. So we can't say a TV show about cycling, or all we have to say is cycling on TV.
Okay, cycling.
So for example, I think cycling on TV is boring, or I think watching cycling on TV is boring, or I feel bored when I watch cycling on TV. And it's the same for football or basketball or anything. To watch a sport on TV, we wouldn't say if we say like a program about basketball, that's different. 因为那不是一个篮球比赛，那就是一个也许有一些人谈论篮球的的电视节目. So the best thing to say is like watch basketball on TV, watch cycling on TV, watch sports on TV, watch football on TV. Okay. Those are the main points, Ruby. Those are the main points. Yeah, you need to practice talking about sports. It seems it's not a strong point for you, I'm afraid. Okay, but anyway, thanks. I'll talk to you later in the class maybe.
John.
Okay. 所以已经有7个人在等，所以如果然后有45个人一共在这边看，所以如果有其他人想尝试回答就是 Part 1问题的话，可以现在举手一下。只有6个人。Okay, so I'm going to pick a random person, and that's going to be number 3, Violet. Hello, Violet. Can you hear me?
Hi, Joe.
Okay, cool. All right, Violet, same questions for you. So, what sports did you play when you were a child?
I didn't do much sports, but I did run a lot. I attended a lot of like sports meetings at my in my primary school, and I also loved skating. And my mom kind of signed up this like a skating club for me. So there were teachers who were teaching me, and I really loved that. I could skating from my home to my grandma's.
What's your favorite sport?
Still running. Because it's a good, like for now, it's a good way for me to reduce my stress, and when I feel stressful and anxious, I think go out for a run can be the best way for me to, kind of feel calm and think about problems in my life. It's like meditation for me, because I don't really like sitting around doing nothing, so I just prefer going out.
Thank you. Do you like to watch sports?
Yeah, but I don't like, I like running, but I don't enjoy watching people run that much on TV. So, but I really loved watching World Cups, not just random football matches. It has to be World Cups. So I'm a huge fan of World Cups. I like kind of like doing some like, not gambling, the word kind of escape. That's like betting people on which team would win this year. That's really exciting, and there can be a little money involved, but not big cashes.
Okay. And the last question, are you a fan of any sports teams?
No. Even I like watching World Cups, but I don't really follow teams. I know for football there are teams from Manchester and Liverpool. These two are rivals. But other than that, I don't follow any team, and also I don't know much about like sports teams.
Thank you. Okay, thanks, Violet. Okay, Violet, overall, very good, very good. A lot of good stuff in your answers. So pretty logical answers to all those questions. Maybe the fourth one, the answer is still pretty good, but maybe some of the things, maybe you could improve the fourth one a little bit. So you said there are teams from Manchester and Liverpool, which are whatever, popular or something like that, and they are rivals. Okay, but that's not really relevant to the question. The question is, are you a fan of any sports team? So that's not really relevant. But anyway, the rest of your answers were all really quite good. So a lot of good vocabulary in your answers. Your answers were logical. You spoke very naturally, and you produced a lot of what I would call high-level vocabulary. And when I say high-level vocabulary, I mean stuff that I sometimes hear native speakers, or even often hear native speakers say, but I almost never hear students say. So it's really good to hear students using that kind of high-level vocabulary, or native-level vocabulary. For example, you were talking about running, and you said it's like meditation to me. Very good. Okay, excellent expression. So meditation is like 冥想 or 打坐. And she's saying here, running gives me the same feeling as meditation. That's a very good expression. It's very much like something a native speaker might say. And you said how you like World Cups, and you said not just random football matches. Excellent. Very good use of the word random there. I'm just writing these. I know you already know these expressions, Violet, because you just used them. I'm just writing them for everybody else so other students can learn these. So not just random football matches. That was a good one as well. Another good one in your second answer, reduce my stress. Maybe it might be better to say just reduce stress. There's probably no need for my there, but still a good expression. A lot of students would say reduce my pressure, which is probably not what a native speaker would say. Would be much more likely to use. So if we're talking about like 压力, 我们感觉到的压力, native English speakers generally use stress, and Violet used that there, so that was good. So a lot of good stuff, Violet, well done. Just a couple of corrections. So in your first answer, question was, what sports did you play when you were a child? And you talked about running. You said, I attended lots of sports meetings. I don't think you mean meetings, and I don't think you mean attended. Like you're talking about running. So do you mean 我参加了很多跑步赛?
Not like you know, like in China we have these like kind of events. I should have saying.
Okay, so is it like in a school? In a school?
Like running.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think we'd probably say sports days. Yeah, because I'm not sure about in China, but in Europe anyway, it's usually like one day every year or one day every semester or something like that. So we call it the sports day. So yeah, you could say sports competitions maybe, but I think you're probably talking about sports days. And there is a word like meeting, that you could use maybe, which is a sports meet. But it's not used very often, but it is correct to say a sports meet. A sports meeting sounds kind of strange, and I think attended is kind of, if you say I attended it kind of generally means that you were just watching it, but I don't think that's what you mean here. I think you exactly, yeah. So you say you'd probably be better to say I took part in, or I participated in. I participated in several sports days, or took part in some sports meets or races or something like that. Okay, and so just your pronunciation of this was a little bit unnatural, and you're just putting the emphasis on the wrong word a little bit. So it should be World Cup. I think what you were saying was like World Cup. Okay, so that's just a little thing. And then the last thing is just about gambling. So you said, I think you said you bet money or something, but you said it's not gambling. And so I guess you bet money with your friends, is it? And if, like, well, let's say Germany are playing Spain, and you say, okay, I bet 10 or whatever, 100 yuan that Spain will win, and your friend says, no, Germany are going to win. I bet 100 yuan Germany will win, and then you give each other the money after the match. Is that what you're talking about? Okay, so that still is gambling. It's still, I know what you mean. It's not like serious. Yeah, it's still gambling. Yeah, so even if it's for one yuan, it's still gambling. It's still betting or gambling. So it is gambling. It's not that it's not gambling. It is gambling, but it's just gambling with your friends for small amounts of money.
Oh my god, I feel like I've committed.
Well, it depends on whether gambling is gambling illegal in China. So I don't think you've committed a crime then. In some countries, you probably would have committed a crime because gambling is illegal in some countries. Okay. Right. So anyway, okay. Thanks, Violet. Good job overall. Okay. Okay, you're welcome. Right. I've still got 6 people. Don't forget, raise your hand if you want to answer these questions. Okay. So I'm going to get another student at random. So I'm going to go for Wendy. Hello, Wendy. Can you hear me?
Hi, John. Nice to meet you again.
Okay, yeah, good to talk to you. All right, Wendy. So what sports did you play when you were a child?
Actually, I'm not really a sports person. I think I usually do some running and swimming when I was a kid.
Okay. Why?
Yeah, because I think I like water, so I like any sports related to water. So I think my favorite sport is swimming.
Okay. Do you like to watch sports?
You mean watch? Yeah, sometimes I like watch something like, yeah, as mentioned before, something like a World Cup, but I don't really watch them too much. And sometimes I just watch some world-class competitions like swimming, Olympic Games. Yeah, it's just something like that, not too often.
Are you a fan of any sports teams?
Yes, as I said, I mean, no, as I said before, I'm not really a sports person, but sometimes I watch the World Cup. So yeah, I support some teams like Brazil and Italy because they have some good-looking football players, but actually I'm not a huge fan of it.
Okay, thank you, Wendy. Okay, pretty good job.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, let's see. So pretty good. So good. So I asked you 3 questions. So your answer to the second question and the third question, those answers were both very good. Your first answer was okay, but it was just a little bit short. So I think you said, so the question was, what sports did you play as a child? You said something like, well, I'm not really into sports, so I just used to go running and go swimming sometimes, something like that. So that's too short, Wendy. You've got to give at least 3 or 4 sentences, probably at least 4 sentences in these questions. So just give a little bit more information. Like when I asked you why, then you gave more information. So, but you could have given that information before I asked you why. So don't wait for the examiner to ask you why. Tell the examiner why before he or she asks you why. Okay. But otherwise your answers were very good overall. Some good vocabulary in the last one, like you said, some good looking. Some good-looking football players. Excellent. That's a good piece of vocabulary because not many students use good-looking. I don't know why. It's a very native speakers use good-looking all the time. We use it very often, and it's a very convenient word because it can be used for men and it can be used for women. So it's a good word that every student should learn. Every student should know that word. Let's see. There were a couple of little vocabulary. Sorry, not vocabulary. A couple of little grammar mistakes. Like in the first one, the question was, what sports did you play when you were a child? You didn't use the past tense. You said you used the present tense. For example, you said I do, or I didn't do some, or I do some. I can't remember. But it's not do some. It should be
did some.
Exactly, did some. Yeah, good. Okay. And then in the second one, you said, I like watch. I like watch.
Watching.
Okay, good. Yeah, I like watching, or I like to watch it. Sorry, I like to watch, or I like watching. And then the last thing was just you said something like, you said like World Cup, like World Cup. So World Cup is one of these words that takes a the, so it's always the World Cup. So
Yeah.
I like watching things like the World Cup. Okay, but otherwise, very good job, Wendy. Good answers, very good pronunciation, good good rhythm to your answers, and a lot of good vocabulary. So well done. Thank you, Wendy. You're welcome. Okay, and I'm going to get one more student. So 这是你最后一个回答，就是 Part 1问题的机会。有其他人有回答的话，可以现在就说一下。Okay, we've got 6 people, so I'm going to choose one at random. I'm going to look at my phone and pick a random number. Right. So the random number is 2, number 2. Okay. BBB. Hello. Can you hear me? Okay, I can't hear this person. I'm going to give them 5 seconds. Hello. Hi. Can you hear me? Hello, BBB.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes. Hello. What's your name?
Good. Chris.
Hi, Chris. Okay, cool. Okay, Chris. What sports did you play when you were a child?
I used to swim a lot because I used to be a swimmer of the swimming team in my home district. So I used to get a lot of training, and I used to swim from the beginning of the year to the end of the year.
Mm-hmm. What's your favorite sport?
Swimming, I would say, because I grew up swimming, and I think swimming can be very beneficial to your health because your muscles and your breathing system all get trained when you are in water, and water is a soft energy that can interact with your body.
Mm-hmm. Do you like to watch sports?
No, I don't really like to watch sports because I think it's quite boring to see people competing. I don't really like that.
Okay. Are you a fan of any sports teams?
No, because like I just said, I don't watch sports, so I don't have any favorite sports teams. I do have some sport guys I like, but not the teams.
Okay. Okay, Chris. Thank you. Okay. The main thing you can improve, Chris. Your answer to question 3, too short. Give me more information. Your answer to question 4, too short. Give me more information. So the last one. Are you a fan of any sports teams? What did you say? No, I'm not a fan of sports teams, but I do have some. I think it's sports guys I like, or something. So you mean I do have some athletes? Maybe I do have some athletes or sports players that I like. Okay, that's all good. That's a very, very good start to your answer. Very good. So that's like 2 sentences that are very good. But why did you stop? Why did you stop? Give me more information. Who are these people? Who are these athletes that you like? Why didn't you tell me? Tell me. Keep going. Keep talking. What sports do they play? And why are you interested in those people? Whatever. Just give me more information. There's always lots of things you can say. In the third one, you said, so do you like to watch? So the question was, do you like to watch sports? I think you just said, no, I don't really like to watch sports. I don't like to watch people. The word you meant was competing. Okay, but why don't you like to watch people competing? Is that boring for you? Is it too maybe you don't like the aggression between different people? Maybe there's other things you like to watch, and you never found sports as interesting as watching whatever nature programs or movies or stuff like that. Maybe you just don't like to watch TV at all. Who knows? I don't know because you didn't tell me, and I should know because you should have told me because I asked you. Okay, so always give more information, Chris. In general, just keep talking until the examiner. Keep talking. Look at the examiner because it's always good to make eye contact. And eventually, you'll see the examiner go. You'll see the examiner do this, and that means he's ready to ask the next question. And then you can stop, but don't stop until you see him go. And then eventually, if you still don't stop, he'll just say thank you. And that's okay. Just wait until until it's obvious that he's going to ask the next question, or until he says thank you, and then you can stop. Okay, but don't stop before that. But okay, so that's the main thing you need to learn. from this little interaction. But otherwise, in a lot of ways, Chris, your English seems really excellent. Your English seems really, really good. Your use of words is very, very good, very, very accurate. You really are not making many mistakes. You're producing a lot of really good sentences. You're using a lot of vocabulary that I don't often hear students use, and you're using it accurately. You're using it very well. In your first two answers, I really don't think I noticed any mistakes. I noticed a lot of good sentences, a lot of good vocabulary, but no mistakes. So in a lot of ways, your English is really good. Some good things you said. You said I grew up swimming. Very good. I grew up swimming. So I'm not sure if the other students will kind of get the meaning of this, get the understand, or will kind of understand this clearly. But it basically means, I guess, 他从小的时候就一直游泳。他长大的时候一直游泳。But that's a very good expression. Native speakers say this all the time. I grew up doing something. I grew up swimming. I grew up reading. I grew up running. That was really good. You were talking about water. You said it can interact with your body. Very good. So to interact with something. A very good collocation there, and you used it very well. You used it accurately. So in general, Chris, you seem to have a very strong level of English, and if you just kind of just keep talking. Basically, that's it. Just keep talking until the examiner says stop, and then I think you'll get a very good result in your exam. Okay.
Thank you,
Chris.
Sean.
You're welcome. Okay. So now, okay, the part one 已经做完了。我们马上开始做 part two， 但是首先我们要做今天的第二个挑战。我要给大家这个挑战也是跟 sports 有关系。所以你们现在就在看4个图片，然后就是4个有人做运动的地方，4个不同人做运动的地方。你们要告诉我这4个地方在英语怎么说？这4个地方 A B C D。第一个正确的回答这4个地方在英语怎么说的人，就可以做我们第一个回答今天的 Part 2的学生。OK， 所以 Wendy 已经回答了。请在你们的回答中写 A、B、C、D， 那个会更清楚一点。只有一个人回答，已经有70个人在看直播，这么只要一个人回答，不应该需要很长时间。OK， 现在有更多 Vera， OK Vera James， OK， Wendy Ruby， OK， 大部分人不对，但是我已经看了一个回答对的。OK， 还有另外一个人回答对。OK， 所以还有5秒钟的时间。4, 3, 2, 1, time up. Okay. So Don, well done, Don. So Don said sports. Sorry, missed his answer. Don said sports field, playground, stadium, gym. Well done, good job. But not the first person to get it right. The first person was Vera. So Vera also said sports field, playground, stadium, gym. Sports field, playground, stadium, gym. Well done, Vera. You were the first one to get it right. So yes, so A, that's a sports field, or you could say a sports ground. That's a sports ground or a sports field. It is not a playground. A is not a playground. A is not a playground. Most Chinese students, when they're talking about 那样的体育场，他们会说 a playground， 但是 那个 A 的图片不是 playground， 是 a sports field or a sports ground。 B 那就是 a playground。 所以你们上大学的时候去踢球的地方，去跑步的地方，很明显不是一个 playground， 是 a sports ground or a sports field. Okay, so B is a playground. It's where little children play. 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old children will go to a playground and play. C is a stadium. Well done. C is a stadium. And then D is a gym. Okay. And so let's see some of the other people's answers. Playground. So a lot of people think that A is a playground, and it is not. It is not a playground. So somebody's in a racing track. Yeah. So 那个跑步的地方，那个跑步道，那就是 a racing track。但是那个跟那个足球场在一起，就是 a sports ground or a sports field. Okay. Okay. So we've got various answers. A lot of people thought the playground was A, but it's not. And let's see, Shaya, sports field, sports ground, playground, stadium. Okay. So anyway, the first person to answer correctly was Vera, I think, wasn't it? Yes, it was Vera. So Vera, you can be the first person to answer our part 2 later. But before we go on to part 2, I want to remind everybody, 我每个礼拜除了这些直播之外，我也提供小组口语课。我们好像在接下来的这个礼拜已经订满了，但是我也不一定，所以要订那个小组课的话，应该练习练。我们最近有很多学生，很多已经考了好几次雅思的学生，然后然后每一次都考到同样的分数，然后参加了我们口语小组课以后，就再考一次，然后分数提高了很多。我们最近有2个考到7.5分的学生，还有其他的就是通过，不一定是通过我们小组课，但是我们小组课肯定帮助他们提高口语分数。然后在每一节课的过程中，我给学生很多练习英语的机会，但是我也提供一些比较根本的提高英语的意见。Alright， 所以我推荐大家，如果要准备雅思，如果你觉得需要强化口语的话，可以来参加我们的小组课，然后只要练习练就可以。另外就是下个礼拜的直播不是礼拜4举行的，是礼拜5，所以下个礼拜因为我礼拜4有事，所以我不能这个时候在线，所以下个礼拜的直播会转到礼拜5。Okay, so let's get back to practicing, and I'm going to send you guys our part 2 for today. So here is your part 2. So it's a book you read that you found useful. A book you read that you found useful. Describe a book you read that you found useful. And as usual, you've got 1 minute to prepare for this. So your time to prepare starts now. Okay, time up. Oh. Okay, so we're going to go to our first person to enter part 2, and that's going to be Vera, because she won the little challenge competition. So Vera, I'm turning on your microphone.
Hi, John, can you hear me?
Hi, Vera. I can hear you clearly. Okay, very good. All right, so Vera, tell us about a book you read that you found useful.
Okay, I'm going to talk about a book that I found very useful. That is Iron Man. This is the adapted book from the Marvel movie Iron Man, and I remember that I have read it when I was in year 1 in my university. And as for the reason why I love this book, I think because this is my first time to read an original English book, so from this time I really loved to read some original English rather than those translation version, and I think I learned a lot of useful vocabulary from this book, and also I was interested in the Iron Man and the other heroes in the Marvel world. Yes, that's all.
Okay, right. So Vera, that was 1 minute 20 seconds. 1 minute 20 seconds. So you should have told me a little bit more. So let's think about what Vera could have said there. So so the 4 points to answer were which book it was. Yes, you told me which book it was, right? When you read it. Did you tell me when you read it?
Yes, I said I read it when I was in my year 1 in university.
Okay, right. And did you say who wrote it?
No, but I said it was adapted. I said it was an adapted book from the Marvel movie.
Okay, it was adapted from the Marvel movie. So was it a movie first and then it was a book?
Yes.
Okay, but I'm still pretty sure somebody wrote it. So you could say I don't know who wrote it, maybe.
Okay.
Okay, right.
Yes.
And explain why you felt it was useful. So you kind of did explain why you felt it was useful, but there's so in every question, right? In every question, there's always a who, what. Oh, sorry, not in every question. In every topic, in every part of the topic, there's always a who, what, why, where, when, and how. Who, what, why, where, when, and how. So, for example, in this one, who could be who were the main characters in the book? Who was your favorite character in the book? What was that person like? Why? So why did you become interested in these kinds of movies and these kinds of books and like superhero movies, superhero books, that kind of stuff? That could be the why. Who, what, why, who, and so what? What could be like maybe what did you particularly find useful about the book? So you just said like it helped you to learn vocabulary. Did it help you to learn vocabulary to talk about a specific thing? Did that vocabulary help you to understand a lot of other English content that you read and listened to or something like that? That could be the what. I can't remember the other. So what is it? Who, what, why? So like for example, the why could be why Iron Man? Why not another one of the Marvel movies / books? I'm pretty sure there are probably books for several of them. And why did you like this one so much? So anyway, there's always something to say for who, what, why, where, when, how for each topic that you get. So there should never be a reason to stop before you get to 2 minutes. You should be always able to continue talking for 2 minutes. And if you get stuck, just think of who, what, why, where, and how, when, and how, and you should be able to. That will help you to remember something else that you can start to say. Now the other main point is that you talked a little bit about why you found this book useful, but you didn't really. That wasn't the emphasis of your answer. The main emphasis of your answer was just that you really liked this book and you found it enjoyable. But this should be kind of about a useful book. So you should be talking about how this book helped you. So, okay, you learned vocabulary from it. but you should have expanded upon that a bit more and talked about vocabulary. In what other ways did it help you? Like, in what ways did your English improve after reading that book? Maybe like a lot of people, when they read one book in a foreign language, their first book in a foreign language, they find the second book way easier than the first one. So you could have said that maybe your second book was much easier, and maybe it improved your score in IELTS reading or something like that. Or maybe you found when you spoke English, the words came to you more easily. So you should have so remember, the topic wasn't just describe a good book. The topic was describe a book you read that you found useful. So you should have talked a bit more about what was useful about the book. That would have made the answer better. Okay, just so the English that you used in your answer was pretty good. You didn't make many mistakes, and you produced a lot of good sentences, and you produced some good vocabulary. So the actual English of your answer was pretty good. Just maybe the logic wasn't perfect. And I'm just going to make one little correction, because a lot of people make this mistake. You said, "This is my first time to read," whatever it was. This is my first time to read an original English book. So that's not quite right. We can't say this is my first time to read an English book. Do you want to try and say that another way?
That book was the first original English book that I have read.
Pretty good. Yeah. Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, that book was the first, or that was the first original English book I read, or that I have read. That's good. Okay, that's good. Another way you could say that is, this was the first time I read whatever. This was the first time I read an original English book. Okay, either of those would be okay. But generally, your sentences were pretty good, Vera. You produced a lot of good language. So well done. Good job. Thank you.
And I have a question.
Go ahead.
At first, I want to say a reference book, like a tool to teach me how to write academic English. But I don't know whether I can say a reference book like that.
Yeah, I don't really know what a reference book is, but I think what you're talking about is correct. Yeah, you could say a book that helps you to write better English. That would be fine. That would be a useful book. It might be a bit boring. It might be a bit of a boring topic, but okay, a textbook. Yeah, sure. It might be a bit boring to talk about a textbook, but it definitely, if you feel that it's a useful book, then that's definitely an appropriate answer. So the logic of that answer wouldn't be a problem.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. So we've got another question from Emma. She says, "Stadium the Guangzhou, I'm not sure. Okay. So I think you mean, oh yeah, sorry. So like where they sit, is it? So where the people sit. And so that would be the seats. The seats, I guess. And no, if you mean like kantai, that's like the stands. The stands. And then the people, they're the spectators. Okay, but I think what you're talking about is the seats. The seats in the stadium. Okay. Right. So let's get a couple of more people to answer this part 2 topic. So I'm gonna get my phone and choose a number at random, and that is number 5. So let's see, number 5. I'm trying to turn on your microphone, but sometimes it takes a little while. Hello, this person, the name is ABCD. Can you hear me? I'm going to give you 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No response. And so I go back to the next number 5, and that is Mia. Hello, Mia. Hello, Mia. Can you hear me?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Okay, Mia. So
Okay.
tell us about a book that you read that you found useful.
Okay. I start now. I'm going to talk about a book I read 2 years ago. It is a book named Please Wake Me Up Before You Leave. It is a book written by Chinese authors named Lu Sihao. and it was a book that my sister gave me when I was in a dazed state, and I lost my way in my life. But this book really inspired me, and it recorded many different people's life experience and about the time they are in trouble or they are in a desperate situation. And at that time, I was also in that situation too, and it gave me some spiritual inspirations. So I read that book, and finally a lot of them in this book had got through all these sadness. And for example, a character studied abroad in Australia, and he has no money to support his life, so he was kicked out by his landlord, and he didn't give up his hope. He did a lot of things to get through his hard time. He did a lot of part-time job, and when he was in a
Thank you, Mia. Well done. Okay, good. I let you keep going there for 2 minutes, and you did well. You kept talking for the full 2 minutes, so good job. And your answer was pretty appropriate. It was pretty logical. So you explained about that book you explained the information about that book quite clearly, and I've got a good idea now about what that book was about. So you explained it pretty well. It seems like an appropriate book to talk about. So overall, a pretty good answer. Definitely the logic of your answer was pretty good. You had some good sentences, then you had some other sentences that had a few mistakes. So first of all, I'm going to talk about a few pronunciation mistakes. So let's see. This one is kind of, I'm not sure if you say it's a pronunciation mistake or a grammar mistake, but try to read this sentence. So this sentence.
A book I read 2 years ago.
Exactly. Yeah. That's right. What did you say before?
I read. I forget past tense.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess that was a grammar mistake then. So good. You're right. So anyway, it should, as you said, it should be a book I read. A book I read 2 years ago. Good. Now you said the book is written by a Chinese, or the book was written by a Chinese something named.
Authors.
Okay.
Author.
Yeah. Okay. You're having a lot of trouble with that word. So it's author, a Chinese
author.
Author. Author.
Author.
Yeah. Author. Okay. Then right. So this sentence had a couple of problems. So you said. Actually, so this was a pronunciation problem. Do you want to try and say that word?
Character.
Okay. So it's a character.
Character. Okay, a character.
But I don't think that's the right word, because these people are real people, right? They're real.
Yeah.
True story. So they're not characters then. Characters are fictional. They're not real people. So in a novel, you might have characters, but in this kind of non-fiction book, you wouldn't have characters. So you just say maybe one guy from the book or one person from the book, and that's not a character from the book. Just someone from the book, a person from the book.
Okay.
Okay. So you said so. He studied abroad. Should be studied abroad. In what country?
Australia.
Yeah, so a little pronunciation problem there as well. So what you're saying sounds like Australian.
Australian. Okay.
So no, 我刚刚说的是不对的，那是不对的。
Okay.
发音。你两次都说听上去 Australian， 那不对，因为 Australian 就是澳大利亚人，那个国家的名字就是 Australia。那
Australia. Okay.
Okay.
Australia.
Let's see. Okay. And the last thing, so you said about when you found the book, you said, when I was in a dazed state, in a dazed state. But your pronunciation of dazed wasn't right, and also it's just not, it's not an appropriate thing to say. So, can you think of a simpler way to say that, Mia? We definitely wouldn't say when I was in a dazed state.
When I was confused.
Good. Okay, that would be better. Good. Yeah. When I was confused in my life, maybe, or you could say when I was very stressed. When I was very stressed. Yeah, or maybe when I was under a lot of pressure. To be under pressure, that would be okay as well. So when I was stressed, or when I was under a lot of pressure, or maybe when I was confused in my life. Any of those would be better. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mia. Okay. Cool. All right. You're welcome. Okay. So let's get another person. I'm going to choose another random number, and this time it's number 2. Okay, so number 2 is James something, I think. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, is your name James?
Yeah, yes, my Chinese name is Chen Tao and my English name is James, so you can call me James for short.
Fantastic. Okay, James. So when you're ready, tell us about a book that you read that you found useful.
Okay, so let's get started. So next we are going to talk. I'm going to talk about a book I read. I think this book is really useful to me, and this book is with the title "The Old Man and the Sea," which was written by a very famous American writer. Ernest Hemingway, who was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1954. This book was set in a very old man who fed on himself by going fishing in the Pacific Ocean. And one day he caught a large fish. However, he didn't catch the fish successfully, because this fish was eaten by the following sharks. Even he encountered this bad situation, he never gave up, and he tried his best to return his home with just the bones of the fish. I'm really fond of this book because I found it useful for this reason. Whenever I can, after reading this book, I never.
Thank you, James. Thank you. Okay, right. So, okay, James. So I didn't let you go for the full 2 minutes there. So you spoke for 1 minute and 40 seconds. So well done for keeping going for that amount of time. And I think you could have kept going longer if you needed to.
Okay.
I let you, right? So good job keeping going. There are some things you need to change about your answer, James. Especially, so there are a few things, right? I think probably you should just change the book. You probably shouldn't talk about that book. I think I understand what you were going to say. You were going to say, well, the main message of the book was that I should never give up. So whenever I have difficulties in my life, I remember.
Yeah, that's true.
But I must persist and I must keep going and I should not give up. Okay, it's kind of useful, I guess, but it would be much better to say something like, well, for example, I have a car and I didn't know anything about cars and my car broke down and I found that it was going to be very expensive to get the car fixed in a garage. So I read a book about fixing cars and then I was able to fix the problem with the car myself. It was really useful. Now that's what we really mean when we talk about a useful book. Something that actually changes your life in a very concrete and specific way. Okay. I guess the Old Man, I'm sure it's an excellent book. I hear a lot of people talk about it. I'm sure it's
yes, thank you.
Okay, I'm not sure if it's very really a useful book. It's probably just a brilliant piece of literature.
So could I talk about a book that may be useful in some aspects of life? For example, a cookbook or a book that can be used to tell the readers how to do a particular thing or how to achieve a particular goal, like this.
Yes, that would be probably
better.
Yes, That would be probably
Okay.
better. Yes. Maybe a cookbook, maybe not a cookbook. The problem with a cookbook is it's generally, well, I guess maybe a cookbook is okay, but yeah, something that teaches you or that you learn a specific useful lesson or skill from would be better. So that's one thing. The other thing, so James, it seems like you've prepared this answer, right? You weren't just thinking back in your memory and talking about that book and then spontaneously saying this, right? You have prepared this. How do I know you've prepared this? Because of sentences like this. The book was written by an American author. Stop. I haven't finished. The book was written by an American author named Ernest Hemingway, who was awarded the Nobel Prize in 1954.
Yeah.
That's not how people talk, James. That's not. Remember, this is a conversation with your friend. If you were telling your friend about this book, you probably wouldn't. If you were talking in Chinese and you were telling your friend about this book, you probably wouldn't talk like that, and you probably just wouldn't know that it won that he won the Nobel Prize. Probably wouldn't know. If you did know that, you probably just wouldn't know which year it was. So your answer, like the first minute of your answer, it sounded like, you know, this website. I've forgotten how to say it in Chinese, but this website, Wikipedia. You know Wikipedia?
Yeah.
So your answer sounded like I was reading Wikipedia. You know, it was facts and information about Ernest Hemingway and about that book. It didn't sound like a person just speaking naturally about the book. So that was another. So those are the two main problems about your answer. So the main problem was that.
All right. Got it.
Yeah. Okay. So I'd say try and think of another book and then practice talking about it and just like record yourself talking about it. But don't like go and find lots of information about the book. The information should come from you and your brain, and it should be your words that you know how to use. And
Okay.
If you need to research something about it, like one or two little things, that's okay. But it should be your answer from your experience using your vocabulary. Okay. All right, James.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Cool. You're welcome. All right, we're going to get one more person. So I'm going to get one more random number, and this time it's number 11. Okay. Yeah, it's just taking a little time to turn on your microphone. Sorry about this. So really taking a long time. And okay, while you it didn't turn on successfully. Let's try it again. So while you guys are waiting, you can always take a look in the it's always over this. I always get the side wrong. So in the little school box there, or school bag there, and you'll see all the different courses that I have here on CC Talk. I've got courses for just generally learning a language from 0 up to a very high level. I've got courses that focus on vocabulary. I've got courses that focus on English writing. I've got courses about IELTS preparation. So have a look in there. Maybe you'll see something that you find interesting. Okay, your microphone is on now. Hello, is your name Shaya? Is that your name?
Hello, John. Can you hear me?
I can. Yeah. What's your name?
My name is Shaya. You can just call me by my nickname.
I can call you by your name. Is your nickname Shaya?
Yes.
Okay, I'll just call you Shaya. So you both. So your name is Shaya and your nickname is Shaya. That doesn't make sense.
Not. My name is Yiming, but I have.
Okay, so your English name is Shaya. That's what you mean. It's not your nickname. It's your English name. Okay. So anyway, Shaya, tell us about a book that you read that you found useful.
I'm going to talk about a book that was introduced by my former English teacher, and it was a book named Tuesday with Murray. It was a book written by the author named Michi. I can't remember his surname. The book is talk about his real story with his former college professor named Murray. The book was about by the end of the lifetime of Murray, and he spent some time with his former student Michi. So this book was written by Michi to write down the stories of Murray. The first time I read the book was in my middle school years, I found this book very useful because it's a book totally about real life experience, and it has encouraged me to discover my real interest of my career in the social work. So I have been encouraged to volunteer in many more activities, and I have found myself enjoy the period when I was following such as the advice of Murray. So I think.
Thank you. Okay, that's almost 2 minutes. Okay, all right, Shaya. Okay, so the main point, right? Again, so it's a book that you found useful, and you did explain why you found the book useful, and that's good. But you didn't do it until, so you started to talk about the book being useful after 1 minute and 10 seconds. So for the first minute and 10 seconds, you were just talking about the book and explaining what the book was. So get to the point a bit sooner. Say why this book was useful, and then the whole answer, most of the answer should be talking about the usefulness of the book and how the book actually helped you. Okay.
Okay.
So that's one thing. Let's see. So yeah, so that's the main thing. Then there's a couple of other little language related things. So you had some good sentences there. You're capable of putting together error-free sentences, and that's good. You explained the book pretty well. You've got a good idea now about what the book is about, so that was pretty good. Your fluency needs to improve a bit, so it's taking you a long time to finish your sentences, but it's also not terrible. So you don't have any really long pauses, but your speech is a bit slow, and it would be better if your speech was a bit quicker. How will you make your speech quicker? Well, you'll make your speech quicker by doing a lot of listening and doing some speaking practice every week with another person and doing some shadowing. That will make your speech a bit quicker, and that would improve your English generally, and it would improve your IELTS speaking score. So then just a couple of little corrections. So at one time you said, the book is talk about. The book is talk about. So the grammar there isn't right. It's not correct.
The book is about.
Exactly. Yeah. Good. Exactly. The book is about. Well done. Good. And then another time you said, I have found myself enjoy. I think so. I have found myself enjoy the period when I worked there or something. But you said, I have found myself enjoy. That's not quite correct.
I find myself enjoying.
Okay, I think, are you talking about the past or just like talking about always?
Always.
Okay, okay, yeah, so that maybe I find that I enjoy. I find that I enjoy. So I don't remember what you said, but I find that I enjoy that kind of work, or I find that I enjoy doing volunteer work or something like that.
Yeah, I'm kind of because the past tense or the present when I'm figure out what I'm going to say.
Okay. All right, no problem. All right. Well, anyway, thanks, Shaya. Pretty good answer overall. Well done. Okay. So okay，我们还做一个回答，然后我们开始做 Part 3。所以最后一个回答这个 Part 2的学生就是Number 3。Hello.
Yes, can you hear?
Yes. What's your name?
Jack.
Okay, Jack. All right. Cool. So, Jack, when you're ready, tell us about a book you found useful.
Okay. The book I read, I found very useful. Is the Oliver Twist. It's wrote by a famous writer, Charles Dickens. It was about 5 years ago. At that time, I was sitting in the library. In fact, it's a public library in Auckland, and I don't know what kind of book I want to read. Then I found the Oliver Twist in there, and I think there are few reasons I want to read that. First, I want to understand the British thinking. You know, I'm Chinese and I want to understand what it is. And I take the oral test as an experience to find out the really thinkings when they met some problems and the choice. And it is also a good book to know the history of the industrial revolution in, you know, at that time it is.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Jack. Okay, that's 1 minute 20. I know you could keep talking, but I want to move on to part 3. Okay, Jack. Again, key word. Useful. Useful. A book you found useful. A book you found useful. So the things that you were talking about were very kind of abstract ideas, about learning about British thinking. What does that? I mean, what does that? What is British thinking? So you read that book and now you completely understand British thinking? I don't think so. I don't think so, Jack. Finding out about the Industrial Revolution, is that useful? Is your life completely changed now because you know a little bit about the Industrial Revolution? No, it might be interesting. It might be interesting. You might find that information interesting. But the topic is not a book you found interesting. It's a book you found useful. A book you found useful. I don't believe that this is a useful book. I just think it's maybe a book that you liked, a book you enjoyed, maybe a book you found interesting, maybe a book that was well written, but I don't think it was a useful book. Okay, so I think it would be better to find another book and talk about another book. And then there were a couple of things I didn't quite understand. You said, I take the oral test as something, as in something.
Experience.
You got to write that for me, Jack. I don't think that word is correct. Oh, encyclopedia. Okay, your pronunciation of that is quite different from the real pronunciation. So it's encyclopedia. Encyclopedia.
Encyclopedia.
Yeah, encyclopedia.
Encyclopedia.
Okay, so now I understand the word, but I don't think that makes sense. You mean what did you say about an encyclopedia? I don't understand.
I just say it is not an encyclopedia, but I just take it as an encyclopedia. I want, you know, I could understand what the books of the British thinking and thinking pattern when they met the same.
Yeah, definitely don't. No. Okay. So no, don't use encyclopedia as an analogy. That doesn't make sense. So the book is not an encyclopedia, and it's nothing like an encyclopedia. You can't compare that book to an encyclopedia. Even though it might be a book that you learned a lot from, it's still not useful to try and compare it to an encyclopedia, especially if you can't pronounce encyclopedia. And so I don't think that makes sense. So Jack, generally I'd say just choose another book, a book that you found, that you read, that you actually helped you in a practical way, and talk about that story instead. Okay, thanks, Jack. Okay, Lee has a question. If a book helps me to decide what I want to learn in university, can I call that book useful? Okay, but get to the point of your answer quickly. Okay, get to the point of your answer quickly. So whatever the book is, I don't know. So say, right, I'm going to talk about a book which is called John's Big Book. I'm going to talk about a book which is called John's Big Book, and the reason I found this book useful was because before I read that book, I had no idea what I was going to study at university. And then when I read the book, it was completely clear to me what I should study. And it really took a lot of stress off my mind, and I could then prepare for my university entrance exam with the full focus about why I was preparing for those exams, why I was doing those exams, because I knew, thanks to reading that book, I knew in my heart and soul that this was the one course that I wanted to study in university. If I hadn't read that book, who knows where I'd be now? Maybe I'd be dead. Something like that. So anyway, make it really clear that you're not just talking about a good book. You're not just talking about an enjoyable book. You're not just talking about an interesting book. You're talking about a book that helps you in a specific way. make that clear right from the beginning, right from the first 2 or 3 sentences. Okay, and then that would be okay. All right, so we've got one more challenge. One more challenge to do. So our third challenge today is a translation challenge. So I'm going to send you guys one sentence in Chinese, and I want you guys to translate this sentence into English. Okay, and so let's see, what is our sentence? So our sentence is 那本书的封面吸引了我的眼球. Okay, so how would you say that in English? It's a bit different. Maybe it's a bit different in English from what you think it might be. Okay, so we've already got one answer. Thank you, Wendy. That's a quick answer. It's not right, but it's quick. So, any more ideas? How might we say this in English? And remember, the first person to answer this correctly can be the first person to answer our part 3 topic. Lee has an answer. Okay, again, not right. Julia. Julia is an interesting one. Julia is getting pretty close. Other person. Okay, so we've got a lot. There's none that I'd really say is absolutely right. There's some that are pretty close, so I'm going to go through them. So Wendy said the cover of the book caught my eyes. No, we cannot say caught my eyes in English. We cannot say caught my eyes, so that's not right. Lee says the cover of that book attracts me a lot. Maybe. I don't think so. No, I think that sounds too weird. We probably wouldn't say the cover attracts me. Julia, the cover of that book drew my attention to it. That's pretty good. I think I'm gonna accept that, actually. Yeah, the cover of the book drew my attention to it. That's so yeah, something draws your attention. That's not what I would have thought of, but I think it's also correct. So I think Julia, your one is pretty good. This person B says the cover of that book catches my attention. Pretty good. We'd probably be talking about this in the past, so we'd probably say it caught my attention. But yeah, catch my attention. That's a good expression. Angel says the book's cover catches my eye. Yeah, probably would say caught, because you're probably talking about it like it already happened. You already saw it, and it caught your eye. So let's see. Ruby, the cover of the book attracts me. Yeah, that sounds weird. We probably wouldn't say that. Mia, the profile. No, sorry, it's not the profile. Alex says I was impressed by the cover. Okay, similar, but maybe not exactly the same meaning. So a slightly different meaning there, I think. Violet, the cover of that book really caught my attention. Very good, Violet. Well done, well done, well done. Very good. The cover of that book caught my attention. I think that's probably the best translation. Somebody says my eyeballs are attracted. Nope. Somebody says I'm addicted. A completely different meaning. Completely, also impossible. You can't be addicted to the cover of a book. That's not possible. Wendy, the cover of the book fascinates me. Different meaning completely. Also, you can't be fascinated by the cover of a book. It's not correct. Lee, the cover of the book is my taste. That doesn't make sense. I think what you mean is the book cover of the book is to my taste, but again, that kind of sounds weird, and it's not really an accurate translation. This other person says the cover of the book appeals to me. Yeah, that makes sense, but I don't. Yeah, that makes sense, but I'm not sure if it's a very one-to-one translation. Let's see if we got any more. Oh, I kind of lost. It's really hard to manipulate this this text box. Angel says the cover of the book got me. Nope, we can't really say that. So I'm trying to think who was the first person. I'm trying to remember. Julia, wasn't it? Yeah, Julia. So Julia is going to be the first person to answer part 3. Now here are the 2 translations that I would say are probably the most accurate. So one is the cover of that book caught my attention. Or the cover of that book caught my eye. So a lot of times in Chinese you might say, for example, 抓住我的眼球 or 抓住人的眼球. And so in English there is the expression for something to catch your eye. And it's same like 吸引人的眼球. Same, catch my eye. What you can't say is catch my eyes. We cannot say catch my eyes. For some reason in English it's just catch my eye. I don't know why. I don't know why we say catch my eye. You'd think it would make more sense for it to be catch my eyes, but it's not. In English, it's catch my eye. Or probably even a better expression that has basically the same meaning is it caught my attention. So something caught my attention. Okay. Right. So anyway, so I forgot. So it was Julia, wasn't it, who was the first person to get it right? Yes. So Julia, I'm going to give you the first chance to answer our part 3 questions.
Hello.
Hi, Julia. Hello. Okay. So Julia, here are some questions for you about reading in general.
Yeah, sure.
So, what types of books are most popular among young people in your country?
I guess among young people in my country, perhaps the most they read the book they read most is textbooks. But besides that, they may read some books about like they may read some biographies of some celebrities that they are interested in, and also some people read other kinds of books like maybe encyclopedias or other kind of books that could be used as tools for them, which can help them learning English or learning other things. So I guess among young people, the most popular book is about learning or about celebrities they are interested in.
Okay. So so you mentioned biographies of celebrities. Do you think it's good? Is it good that young people read those books?
Hello?
Hi, yeah. So,
I guess there is a second question.
Okay, so yeah, the second question was, is it good that young people read those biographies of celebrities that you mentioned? Is that good or bad?
Yes, I think so, because especially when these celebrities are good role models, like sometimes there are many like there are pop stars or the sportswomen. They did a lot of hard work, or they put a lot of effort in what he or what they are doing. So that's a good role model for young people, that young people could put a lot of effort in what they are going to do, and especially when they are facing some problems, sometimes they can be inspired from experiences that they read from these biographies. So I guess that's a good thing.
Thank you. Thank you. What are the main differences between the reading habits of old people and the reading habits of young people in your country?
I think old people, they read newspapers aloud, and sometimes they prefer paper-based books and other than e-books, because they are not familiar with electronic books. But while young people, they prefer e-books, and also they have the habit of reading on mobile phones sometimes, and I think that's because young people are more familiar with like electronic things or high-tech things than old people, so that account for this difference.
Thank you, Julia. Okay, well done, well done. Okay, Julia, very good answers overall. Well done. So very thorough answers. So you really explained your answers very well, and you kept talking until you kind of finished your points, and you gave a lot of language in each of the answers. You gave a lot of sentences. A lot of sentences that you produced were pretty accurate. They didn't have any mistakes, or maybe they just had one little mistake, but a lot of accurate sentences. So overall, very good quality answers. You had some good vocabulary and some good collocations. Like, for example, in your second answer, you said they put a lot of effort in. whatever. I think it was they put a lot of effort in whatever they are doing, or put a lot of effort into whatever they are doing. Very good, excellent expression, because most students, you generally say they make a lot of effort or something like that, but to put effort in something, or to put effort into something, that's a good expression, and you use that very well. Biographies of celebrities, also very good vocabulary there. Biographies of celebrities, that was a good one. So a lot of good stuff. Maybe there was one logical point. Sorry, I said your answers were all logical. Actually, there was one that wasn't logical, really. So the first question: what types of books are most popular among young people in your country? And so at the start you said, well, the books that they read most are textbooks. Okay, that's true, but that's not answering the question. Why is that not answering the question, Julia?
Because I don't really know what books are popular among young people.
Okay, but,
not popular.
So the question was, which type of books are most popular? And you said, well, the ones that they read most are textbooks. 然后我的重点就是那个不是一个合适的回答，那个回答跟被问的问题没有关系。你知道为什么没有关系？
Yeah, I think maybe it is what Wendy says, that they are forced to read textbooks, or that's compulsory for them, not what they are
what does
interested
popular in. So explain in English. Tell me in other words in English. What does popular mean? What is something like books that are popular, things that are popular? What do they mean?
And the books are widely welcomed by young people.
Okay. So it means that there's two kind of aspects to popular. One is a lot of people buy them or read them or use them or whatever you're talking about. So a lot of, in the case of books, one is a lot of people read them. Now that's true of textbooks. But the other aspect of popular is that they like it, they enjoy them, they enjoy the thing. So that's why we can't really talk about textbooks. So even though a lot of people read them, most people don't really like them. So we can't really say, or it's not a good answer to say that textbooks are the most popular ones. It's got to be something that a lot of people do and enjoy doing, and then it can be popular. Okay, so that was the only kind of logical problem. There was one pronunciation problem. So you said this word twice, and the second time your pronunciation was not bad. The first time it wasn't good. You want to try and say this again?
Role models.
Good. That's better. So role models. I think maybe it might be emphasis. So I think you might be putting the emphasis on models, but it should be on role. So role models.
Role models. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right. You almost got it. So then the other thing was in the last answer, a couple of times you used the word. I think you said electronical. There's no such word as that in English. So one time you said electronical books, and another time you said electronical things. So the answer, how would you say that? It's not electronical.
Electric.
No, we wouldn't say electric books.
E-books.
Yes, e-books, exactly. E-books, just e-books. And then, so I guess when you said electronical things, you mean like Dianza chanting. How would you say that?
Digital products, or
maybe, but like for example, let's say a toaster is an electronic, like I guess you say it's like the end of champagne, but it's not digital. So, anybody have an idea? No, but right, don't. E-commerce, that's completely different. So it's electronic. Electronic things. So not electronical things, but electronic things, or electric. Sorry, there's some noise there, Julie, so I'm going to turn off your microphone. Okay. So anyway, Julie, that was the last point. So yeah, you can say electronic things. You can't say electronical things, just electronic things, or electronic gadgets. Somebody's saying electronic appliances. That's good as well. That's true as well. Okay. All right. So let's get another student. Again, I'm going to go for a random number, and the random number this time is 8. Hello. Can you hear me? Hi. What's your name?
Hello.
Hi. Yeah. Hi. Yeah. Hello. What's your name?
Oh, I'm Sylvia.
Hi, Sylvia. Okay. Okay, Sylvia. So some more questions for you about reading and books and stuff like that. So, in general, Sylvia, do you think that children who read a lot of books go on to become successful people in their lives?
Well, I agree with this opinion because if a child read more books, he will think more about the meaning, and he will understand many important things about humanities, or he will think more about the society. Yeah.
Okay. So obviously, children in your country read a lot of books in school. Do you think that children in your country spend enough time reading books outside of school, reading books just for fun, just for pleasure?
Oh, yeah. I think this happens in the past. For the children nowadays, they prefer reading novels in the computer. Yeah, but most of them they love playing video games instead of reading.
Okay. Last question. What can parents do to get their children to read more?
Oh, maybe parents can introduce the book to the children, and they may share some ideas with children.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Sylvia. All right. Okay, Sylvia, a couple of problems. One, that you're not giving enough information. So I think you're just starting your answer, and actually you've already finished your answer. So 2 sentences is not enough. You've got to give more than 2 sentences, especially in part 3. In part 3, you've got to give maybe 6 or 7 sentences in every answer. So give more information, Sylvia. You've got to keep talking, talk more. Number 2, the speed of your speech is very slow, Sylvia. You need to learn to talk more quickly. Now, some people in their native language, they talk slowly, and some people in their native language talk really quickly. I think I talk pretty quickly, but some people talk slowly in their native language, and that's okay. But your speech, the speed of your speech in English in your foreign language is too slow. It's too slow. It definitely needs to get quicker. So I already talked to I already talked to another person about this earlier, and I gave that person some advice about how they can improve the speed of their speech. Do you remember that, Sylvia? Did you hear that advice?
Yeah.
What was it? What advice did I say?所以 Sylvia 以前今天的直播，在今天的直播我已经跟另外一个学生，谈论同样的这个问题，就是讲话的速度不够快，然后我给他一些加快讲话速度的意见，你记不记得那些意见？
哦。No, it's my second lesson.
OK，我今天就说了，所以，如果有其他学生像 Sylvia 那样，然后也包括 Sylvia， 有一些你应该做的，为了提高或者为了加快你讲话速度的事情。第一个就是 listening lots of listening， 听力很多，应该每天花费尽可能多的时间听英语，然后至少1个小时，至少每天1个小时。但是如果可以每天听8个小时、10个小时、12个小时、16个小时，那就更好。所以尽可能应该花费尽可能多的时间听英语，应该从来不听中文，或者尽可能的少听中文，尽可能的多听英语。第二，口语练习口语，跟别人练习口语，不要一个人练习口语，也可以一个人练习口语，但是肯定要每个礼拜跟其他人练习口语。所以，如果每个礼拜花费3个小时，比如说礼拜1、礼拜3、礼拜5都多做1个小时的口语练习，跟别人做一个小时的口语练习，你讲话的速度会很快就会加快，然后你在1个月或者2个月之内应该会达到一个正常的讲话速度。第三 shadowing 因子跟读法，如果你不知道因子跟读法是什么，应该就研究一下，可以在我微信公众号 Learn with John 研究一下因子跟读法 shadowing， 然后我们在 Learn with John 也有一些教材叫40 Days to IELTS 雅思40天教材，然后那个就是很完美的用来 shadowing 的教材。然后还有这边就要我们就是雅思 Part 2画本，然后那个产品有语音也有文字，所以你可以边听边读，你可以用那个做 shadowing， 那个 shadowing 因子跟读法也会帮助你说话更加快一点，更加正常一点。Okay, all right. Thank you, Sylvia. So let's see. I'm going to get one more student, the last student of the day, and I see there's 7 people waiting. So I'm gonna pick another random number, and this number is number 7. Number 7. So sorry to the other people, but this is our last student today. Sorry if you didn't get a chance to speak, but we have a limited amount of time.
Hello.
Hi. Is your name Nash?
Yeah, call me Nash.
Okay, so should I call you Tommy or what?
Call me Nash. Yeah. Nash. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, hello. I'm not going to call you Tommy Nash. Okay, that's weird. I can call you
No.
Tommy,
Yeah.
or I can call you Nash.
Nash. Sorry.
Okay, Nash. Okay.
Yeah. My bad. Yeah.
Okay, Nash. So some of these questions again, same questions, all about reading. So, what types of books are most popular among native speakers? Sorry, not name. What types of books are most popular among young people in your country? What types of books are most popular among young people in your country?
I guess the most popular books among young people should be fictions, different kinds of fictions, the science fiction, the martial arts fiction, and different kinds of fictions, I guess. So, when the first time the young people getting into the book world, they will first meet with different kinds of books, something like the tour books, the textbooks, the fictions. And I think the fictions, because they are telling good stories, and we all read different kind of stories when we are young. So the most popular books that young people would feel they can enjoy and they will get love to is the fictions. So different young people will find they love different kind of fictions. Some will love the science fiction because they love the technology
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. All right. So, in general, do you think that children who read a lot of books go on to become successful in their lives?
Well, I don't think so, because books offer you more knowledge, offer you more information, but success is something much more complicated. If you want to get success, there are more components will affect that part. If you read more books, it's possible that you will get more methods that help you to get to success. But but it also may confuse you if you don't have the ability to identify which part of the book really helps you in the successful way and which part of the book will leading you to some bad parts. On the other hand, I think the book is more about knowledge and the understanding of words, not really directly connecting to the success.
Okay, and the last question. So what can parents do to get their children into the habit of reading for enjoyment?
I think the most important thing is the parents themselves should read themselves, because if you read a lot, that your kids will see what you do and may be a copycat of you and may think that you can if you really enjoy reading, the children, he or she would think that it may be an interesting thing and will do the same thing as you do.
Okay, good. Okay. Thank you, Nash. Just give me 1 second. Okay, Nash. So pretty good job overall. Pretty good. So a moment ago I was talking about the speed of speech and being able to speak quickly enough in a foreign language. And in this regard, you're very good. So you're quite fluent, Nash. You're able to produce a lot of language in a short space of time. You're able to produce a full sentence with one breath. So that's really good. So your level of fluency seems really, really quite good, Nash. And your vocabulary is also pretty good. So obviously, if you didn't have a pretty good vocabulary, you wouldn't be able to produce so much language. But you have a pretty decent vocabulary, so that's why you're able to produce pretty long answers to questions, and you're able to produce several sentences in just 20 seconds or 30 seconds. So a lot of good stuff about your English, Nash. Well done. Also some good use of words that I don't hear other students use so often, but you use them well. Like, for example, you said success is something much more complicated. Very good. A very good little sentence there. Well done. And another time you said, I think you said they will do the same thing as you do. Let me think of this. So well done. You produced that sentence very well. You produced the grammar of that sentence accurately. I think most students wouldn't be able to produce that sentence, so they will do the same thing as you do. Just something like that. Actually, I'm having trouble producing the sentence accurately in Chinese. But anyway, so that was well done.
Okay, thank you.
Quite a skillful sentence. So let's see. No. There were a couple. So in your first answer, though, you had one vocabulary problem that influenced the answer a lot, or affected the answer a lot, and that was so you kept saying the word factions, the faction. Now I know what you're trying to say, but you're confused. So what you mean is not faction, but fiction. Fiction.
Oh, sorry. Fiction. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got a couple of misunderstandings about that word. One is the pronunciation. So it's fiction, not faction. Two is that so fiction is uncountable. Fiction is uncountable.
Okay.
Another thing, you kept using the. You said the. So it's not just. There's no need for the. It's just fiction. Fiction is whatever. Fiction is interesting. Fiction is popular. So that would be how you should use it. The other thing.
Okay.
Fiction is too broad of a category, Nash. So the question was, what type of books or what kind of books are most popular among young people? Fiction is too broad of a category. So which type of fiction? You've got to say. So you said fiction, and then you said 3 or 4 different types of fiction. But which one of those types is most popular? So it's not an appropriate answer to say fiction is most popular, because most books are fiction. So you're not really narrowing down the types of books enough. You've got to say maybe science fiction books are most popular, maybe romance novels are most popular, whatever. But give a more narrow and specific answer. Okay.
Okay.
Right. And then let's see, just maybe one more correction. So I think so. This didn't really make sense. You said which part of the book is good and which part of the book will leading you to the bad part. So the problem there is leading you to the bad part. That doesn't really make sense in English. I think I know what you mean, but it's not an accurate expression. So which part of the which part of the book is good? Which part of the book will, how could you say it another way?
Mislead you.
Very good. Okay, good. Okay, good. That's a good word actually, to mislead. Good. So which part of the book is useful and which part of the book will mislead you? That would be very accurate expression, good expression. Okay, Nash, so that was it for you. Thank you very much. You're welcome. All right, so let's see. Okay, so finally, last couple of things. So if anybody has any questions, I'll give you a small chance to write me some questions now. So 如果有任何学生想问我一个问题，任何关于外语学习的问题，关于雅思的问题，都可以现在给我发。然后你们在想到问题的时候，我就会提醒大家，下个礼拜的直播不是礼拜4，是礼拜5。然后我们好像也要改时间，所以好像下个礼拜5晚上8点钟，不是像今天一样，不是7点钟，就是下个礼拜5晚上8点钟。还有呢，写作，所以你们都在准备雅思，好像如果你要帮助准备写作的话，你可以参加我们 Learn with John 的不同写作课程，包括在这边就可以买步步水的课程，然后那个步步水课程会帮助你知道如何安排你的小作文和大作文回答。然后如果你想我修改你的英语写作，我们还有就是一个写作训练营，然后可以参加到那个，只要加我的微信 Learn with John， 然后在那边练习练。Okay, so we've already got a couple of questions. All right, so one question from Violet. So Violet says, what kind of effect does speaking really fast during the test have on one's score? It's hard to say, Violet. It's not really about speaking really fast. Speaking really fast is not good or it's not bad. So all I can say is speaking really slow is bad. Okay, speaking really slow is bad. It's not good to speak really slow. That's a problem. Then speaking really fast, that's not good, it's not bad, might even be a little bit bad. What you want to do is just speak normally. Okay, so it's not about speaking really fast, it's important for the people who speak too slow to improve and to speak at a normal rhythm. Okay, so but if you already speak at a normal rhythm, there's no need to try and speak faster. It's not like the person who speaks the fastest is the best person, and if you speak really, 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 really fast, then you're going to get a 9. No, that's not it. It's just if you speak too slow, you should improve until you're at speaking at a normal level. I wrote an article about this, not about this, but an article where I talk about this on Weixian. So the article is called 如何衡量自己的雅思分数 or something like that. I think there's 2 articles, but one of them, I think there might be one which is like 如何衡量自己的口语分数。然后你应该可以在微信找到那个文章，或者如果 Lin 在线的话，他也许就在这边转发那个文章。And in that article, I said how you can measure your speaking speed, and I can't remember exactly. I think it was like a native speaker speaks like about 120 words a minute or something like that. I can't remember, but you can Google it. So you should try and bring the speed of your speech up to close to a native speaker's speed of speech, and you can measure yourself just speaking spontaneously. And if the speed of your speech is like below 80 words per minute, then it's something that you need to improve. Even if it's below 90, maybe it's something that you need to improve. Okay, next question. Right, so let's see. Wendy, can we use lots of like in the test? Example, it's a bit like boring because, it's like a boy thing. No, you shouldn't use a lot of it, but to use it occasionally is no problem. But yeah, in your example, they are like using it twice in pretty much the same sentence. That's not good. So you shouldn't use too much of it. You shouldn't, but Wendy, you shouldn't consciously try to do anything with your speaking. You should just listen to a lot of English, listen to lots and lots of English, read lots and lots of English, talk to native speakers, and then just the English that comes out will be natural. Don't constantly try to use like. Don't consciously try to not use like. Just just practice lots of English, and when you speak English, then the English that comes out will be natural. So don't worry about using like too much or not using like enough. Let's see. Wendy says, an English native speaker told me that if you speak too fast, your content will be blurred, which is bad. Yeah, that's kind of true. Depends on your pronunciation. If your pronunciation is accurate, you can speak very fast and people will still understand you. If your pronunciation is not accurate, then people are probably not going to understand you anyway, but they definitely won't understand you if you speak very fast. Okay, Violet, thank you. You're welcome. Shaya says, what kind of chat app do you suggest for speaking practice with native speakers? I find italki could not send voice messages with friends. So Shaya, first thing is sending voice messages is okay. That's okay, but it's not the best. The best is actually talking to somebody one-to-one. Okay, and the apps. I've tried to use some different apps, and they all suck. They're all terrible from what I can see. So I'll tell you a website that I use, which is conversationexchange.com. Conversationexchange.com. That's a pretty good website. I've often found people to practice with on conversationexchange.com. And then if you can't find somebody on conversationexchange.com, then just pay a tutor. So you got to pay some money to a tutor. Find a cheap tutor, the cheapest tutor you can find, hopefully a native speaker, and pay them to talk to you. Okay, that's Shaya. And then we've got another question. Can I just say sci-fi when talking about science fiction, or is it better to say science fiction first and then shorten it in the form? Either is okay. Either is okay. It doesn't matter. You can say sci-fi, you can say science fiction. They're both perfectly fine. It doesn't matter which one you say first. They're both the same. And Violet, thank you. Okay, let's see. Right, okay, that's it. Okay, that's all the questions. All right, 谢谢大家参加今天的直播。下个礼拜的直播是礼拜五，北京时间8点钟举行。OK， 不要忘记给今天的直播点评，给我们留下5颗星，然后我们下个礼拜再见吧。OK， thanks everyone， bye bye。